This set of videos looks at some of the rules around basic report building with MerlinXL. And the first rule of report building is that you can use the MerlinXL keyword to set the top left-hand corner of your report range. However, if the MerlinXL keyword is not found on the worksheet, then cell A1 is used as the top left-hand corner of your report range. And using the MerlinXL keyword, you can create multiple retrieval ranges, so long as the MerlinXL keywords are all in either the same row or the same column. So let's now see what those rules mean in practice. On this blank connected sheet, there is no MerlinXL keyword present. So cell A1 becomes the top left-hand corner of the retrieval range. Row 1 becomes the report's column header range, where you put the member labels for the column headers, which I've shaded to make them stand out, and column A becomes the default report row header range. To define the report, we add the member labels in the column header cells and member labels in the row header cells. Any keywords, for example descriptions, are also entered in the header cells. And when we refresh the worksheet, data is added to the intersecting cells of the row and column headers. The top left-hand corner of the report range is very important because from this MerlinXL can work out the header ranges and therefore what data needs to be retrieved. So, as in this example, if the MerlinXL keyword cannot be found on the worksheet, then cell A1 is taken as the top left-hand corner of the report range. But if we wanted to locate the report range elsewhere in the worksheet and move the top left-hand corner away from cell A1, say we wanted to move it down a few rows to leave space for a report title. In the current example, if we were to refresh the worksheet now, no data would be retrieved because currently on this worksheet, cell A1 is still being treated as the top left-hand corner of the retrieval range. And as the row headers and column headers are blank, no data is retrieved. So to set the new top left-hand corner cell, we type in the MerlinXL keyword. And now when we refresh, the retrieval range can be interpreted and the data brought into the intersecting cells. And the usual MerlinXL double-click functionality is available. For example, double-clicking on the descriptions of the column headers inserts the child members, and double-clicking on the data cells inserts the child members in the rows. So the MerlinXL keyword allows you to choose the location of the retrieval range within a worksheet. This enables you to leave space for the report title, but also to define multiple retrieval ranges on the same worksheet. To demonstrate this, I'll copy this retrieval range and paste it underneath. So now there are two retrieval ranges on this worksheet, and I'll modify the column headers of the second range to show they are completely separate retrieval ranges. And now if I refresh the range, note that double-clicking on the data cells to drill down on the rows is still enabled. So when you have multiple retrieval ranges, the double-click to drill down on the rows is only enabled when the retrieval ranges are directly above each other and the MerlinXL corner cell are all in the same column. But if you have MerlinXL ranges above each other, then the double-click to drill down on the columns will be disabled. So in this case, double-clicking on the description of a parent member in the columns does not insert the child member columns. Let's rearrange the structure of this report and place the second retrieval range to the right of the first one and clear the data. This time the MerlinXL corner keywords are on the same row. Refreshing the worksheet brings data into both ranges, but this time, because the retrieval ranges are side by side, the double-click to drill down on the rows is disabled. So nothing happens when you double-click on a data cell. But double-clicking on the description of a parent member in the column headers is enabled, and the child members are inserted into new columns. So double-clicking to drill down on the column headers is enabled with multiple retrieval ranges, when all the MerlinXL corner cells are on the same row. It is recommended when building reports with multiple retrieval ranges that you stick to the principle of keeping the MerlinXL corner cells in either the same row or the same column. I'll rearrange the report again so that here we have an example of how you would set up a worksheet if you had 4 retrieval ranges with 2 side by side. Note that the MerlinXL corner keyword have been aligned on the same rows and columns. And refreshing brings in the data for all 4 retrieval ranges. In this report I've modified the structure again, this time by placing 3 separate retrieval ranges, one on top of the other. And I'm going to give each retrieval range a slightly different point of view, and I do this by selecting the MerlinXL corner cell, and after the MerlinXL keyword I type in the partial point of view for this retrieval range. So the top retrieval range is going to retrieve data for January, and by entering the member label for February in the corner cell of the second retrieval range, we will set that point of view for February. And then in the corner cell of the third retrieval range, I'll enter the member label for March. Now, because I've hard-coded in the member label in the corner cell, I'm going to hard-code in the description for each period as well. So now there are 3 almost identical retrieval ranges, but each one is set for a different period. And when we refresh the data, each of the retrieval ranges is updated with data. We've seen in this video how you can use the MerlinXL keyword to define the top left-hand corner of your retrieval range, and how it can be used to define multiple retrieval ranges on the same worksheet. And we also saw how you can add a partial point of view to the MerlinXL keyword to set the background point of view of the individual retrieval ranges.